It was on January the 1st, 8 years ago, year 2000. I went to bed the night before. My wife was next to me, and there's one moment when I woke up, and with all consciousness, all my senses intact, my brain, everything, it's just fully conscious. But I was surprised because I wasn't where I was supposed to be, in my room. I was in a weird place. I couldn't explain. There's no place like that. And I was puzzling. Where am I? What's this? I mean, I'm conscious. It's not a dream, not a vision, but it's me. Like physically too, it's me. I just cannot see myself wearing what clothes and so on. It's all the details just lost because of the trauma, because of the shock. And I heard a voice behind me. I couldn't turn my neck, to the right or the left. Just a voice behind me. And because I fellowship with that voice every day, reading the Bible every day, I know that voice is my master, Jesus Christ, saying to me, "You are here by my will. Go ahead and go forward. Walk on. I'll lead you. I'll show you something to tell other people. And just walk on." And a very long path. Long path, and it's very stuffy, and no air, and no wind blowing, and it's very heavy. I think the stink itself could kill you, literally, in this life. But I know that I was in a good hand, and I walk on. Said, "What is it that you are trying to show me? Get me out of here, Get me out of here." You feel everything, like you feel your skin, you feel everything. And finally I reach a place. He led me to a place. It's a wide gate, and a huge wide gate. It's not like a gate at all, nothing like it. Whatever I say here is just far to be likened to anything that we have seen in this life on earth. And that gate is so wide, and then there's supernatural writings on it. Above it, it's amazing even to be able to read it, because it's so far, it's so wide and tall, and it's a door. And the writing, and God touched my eyes to be able to interpret what it's written. It's something like the valley of death and torture, something like that. And a voice behind me saying, "Open the door." I say, "I'm afraid to even open the door. It's so rusty, it could hurt my hand," because it's not a spiritual experience. It's like almost physical, not almost physical. It's more than physical. I'm not going to touch doors like that. It's going to hurt my hands. But before I touch it, the door opened by itself. And as it opens, it breaks my heart so much. I could hear all those. I could hear people, voices of human beings, crying for help and cursing, everything, you name it. And it's not clear anymore. So many people, and some gnashing of teeth, and the heat the darkness just came out. It's not like darkness, like there's no light and this is darkness. The darkness is a force, and it's a reality. It's feeling the wrath of God in the air. And as I opened the door, and I could see, I was by the gate, and I knew exactly where I was. I was where the dead are kept until the day of the judgment of Jesus Christ, the white throne judgment that is written in the book of Revelation. And before I could see anything else, I could see far away. It's too far for man to reach with his eyes, but because of Jesus and his power, I could see it very far away. Endless. At that direction in front of me is really endless. And I could see smoke billowing up. And it was like there is a glow of fire, though I could not see the end of the fire. It must be, the valley must be very deep, and the lake must be deep. It must be a lake of fire or something, and it's so huge. I could only see the smoke billowing up, and I begin to see a lot of tortures happen. And I reminded what is written in the book of Revelation, that no one has been thrown into that lake of fire, not the devil, not human beings who died and perished in his sin, no one until the throne of the white throne judgment of Jesus Christ. So I know where I'm standing at is by the gate of death, where I see so millions, and only God knows the numbers. It's a lot, trust me, a lot more than people who go to church for sure. And I saw people being tortured by the free demon spirits that are although condemned, but they are not yet judged and not yet bound, not yet thrown into the lake of fire. And these human beings, these dead people, trust me, they are not dead at all. They are alive and more alive than they thought, than we think. And they are tortured day and night by the spirits and that they serve them in their lives with their sins. And this is pay up time. This is not judgment time, this is just pay up time, you know. These spirits own them forever. And these spirits, these devils, demon spirits, and this devil and all these cursed, dead people who perish in their sins going to be thrown into the lake of fire. And I could see all kinds of torture there. People are tortured according to their sins on earth. Not because it's God's judgment. God's judgment is fair, but this is like a playground, playtime for the devil. You know, Jesus says it's better for you to go to heaven one eye. If your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out, because it's better for you to be one-eyed into heaven than two eyes into heaven. You know what happened? If you sin with your eyes, then your eyes are the play toy in that torture chamber. Not even a chamber, it's too small. Chamber is too small. And if your hands causes you to sin, one of your hands just causes you to sin, just cut it off. It's better for you to be one-handed into heaven than two hands. I saw all kinds of torture. And people are... Oh, oh, have mercy. All I did was I just said, have mercy, Lord, have mercy. I almost died witnessing all that, and I didn't die because of God's strength. And if it were not God's strength, I would have died in my sleep, and people would have thought I got a heart attack or something. Yeah. And after that experience, I woke up in the morning. I got pain all over my body. I threw up almost every day. Just thinking about it, it's so traumatic. Especially if people ask you to tell a story, that would be like killing you again and again and again. And 9 months after that, I did the first crusade. It was after a lot of bargaining with God. God told me, Holy Spirit urged me to do a crusade and share a testimony. I said, what? I don't want to. I don't think I could, you know. Secondly, I don't want people to think I'm crazy. I've been called false prophet. I've been called theologically unhealthy preacher, whatever. Lord, if you love me, don't tell me to do this. It's bad enough, you know, you bring me there. It's bad enough. Why don't you bring like this guy and that guy? Why don't you bring me? And I obeyed anyway. And in that crusade, I preached very simply, and a lot of people came and ran to the front to receive Jesus. I didn't do that altar call in this way. Who wants to receive Jesus? All eyes closed, all heads bowed, you know. Nothing wrong with that style, but I don't do that. Because of the emergency. You know what? Preaching the gospel is emergency, it's urgency. It's not like it's not a joke. It's not manipulation. It's not a business, come on, it's not all that. And I don't care anymore. I obey the Lord, even if I have to die. People will kill me because people didn't like me, especially here in Indonesia. If I die, it's a gain. But if I can save one person from going there, not me, but Christ can save through my testimony, through the Word of God, it's all worth it. And people just ran forward and receiving Jesus. And I saw about 7 young men up there on the second floor as they're listening to my sermon. They were joking with each other as I was sharing this, and as I was giving the altar call, people just come forward for just a few seconds. I don't give them much time, and those 7 people just talk with each other, seemingly like mocking what my testimony. I don't take things like that personally, because it's not me they reject. suddenly I get my first vision in that crusade. I got a vision, these 7 people willingly holding hands together jump into the lake of fire, and that broke my heart apart. Although about some thousands of people came to Christ in that 3 nights of crusades, but still cannot heal my heart. I know that those 7 people have hardened their hearts, and I don't think in any other crusades or in any other witnessing effort by their friends, if they hear something as hard as hell, they cannot change. They will not change at all. And how about the people in the Western world? Hell is a fantasy. Hell is just a word. Go to hell. Do you know what you're talking about? And hell is just a story, you know. It's not real. It's made up. Well, it's up to all of us what to believe. But I always have this belief. I share this, believe it or not. My hands are clean. Whether people believe or not believe is not in my control. As long as my hands, I know I'm clean. My hands are clean from your blood. You make your own choice. I've done my part. Yeah. And I knew that we are not to take sin lightly. We are to be judged according to our deeds. And Jesus Christ died as a horrible death. There must be something horrible in death for all human beings to experience, for such a love to be sent from above to die a horribly and embarrassingly humiliating death like Jesus did on the cross. We must not take things easily, take sin easily. And yeah,